the last couple of weeks they've shown a bit more?
Yeah, they've been in good form, one of the form sides. I sort of think they learned some lessons in their game versus St Kilda. They've been a lot more assertive with the ball, and they're a side that I think is better than what their record suggests. I think they're a really good side. They're a challenger for final eight contender as well. So we really like the way they've gone about their list build. They're always hard to play against, so it's going to be a good challenge for us. We got beaten in a 15-20 minute patch over on their deck last year, so we learned some lessons from that, and we're looking forward to seeing how we go this time.
What difference have you seen from just using Jackson as their number one ruck, and what problems does that pose?
Oh, look, I think Darcy will come back in. Once again, you can always have quality players, and I think we'd have took a little bit of offence to being told he's 125 kilos. So I think we did get a good laugh out of that in this morning's team meeting. But they're very, very fortunate. They've got a great, they've got two very good rucks, very similar to us, and they've got also a very capable forward in Jackson. So we probably fully expect those guys both to play. Once again, which is going to provide a set of circumstances we don't see often. So going to have our challenges with that. But, once again, they've got great midfield, great contest-to-contest runners, really formidable forward line, and their backs do a hell of a job as well. So they're a really good side.
How are they using Shea Bolton? Obviously someone
Yeah, Shea's he's a bit of a barometer for them. I think when he's in good form, they're in good form. So we'll have a good understanding. We sort of showed some vision of Shea at his best and what that looks like. And obviously with myself and Sean there, we've got a fair idea of how he plays the game and what his strengths are. So it's good to know those. Tough to stop. He's a wonderful player and been a great addition for their footy club, and one I'm sort of making sure that won't play hopefully that well against us. But again, he's very hard to stop.
I know he's like a bit of a combo mid-forward or whatever, but just on this opposition small forwards, at the start of the year it might not have looked like you had a stopper as such, but what do you think of your small backs the last couple of weeks when you had Hawthorn particularly and Higgins on the weekend?
Yeah, I think within these four walls we know how good Powell and Newland are, but I'm not sure they probably get the appreciation outside. Like, Powell's an unbelievable player. Like, I think I knew how good he was, but until you see him up close, and he's capable of playing anyone. He can play on talls and smalls, and he's done a wonderful job on those smaller players over the last couple of weeks. And the Bolton matchup's a different one again. Is he more midfield or is he more forward? Does he play up high? Does he play down deep? So we're going to have some challenges with that. The communication of our backs is going to be really, really important. But what we do know is those back six, back seven been playing together for the majority of the year. So we're relatively confident that we're going to get a pleasing result with that. But what we do know is they've got a quality forward line, a good mixture of talls and smalls. So it will challenge us at various stages.
How's Mac?
Look, he won't train today. He's trending towards probable, which is always a positive. He's a really important, really important player, Max. So we've just got to make sure that he's right to go. We don't want to. There's no further risk of injury, but just want to make sure he's capable of performing, close to near his best. So he'll train a little bit more tomorrow, and we'll get a better understanding then.
How hard is this to weigh up? Because there's not. I guess it's a part of the ground that you think depth-wise you've got options, but the temptation must be there if he's close to playing. But how do you weigh up that?
Yeah, look, in our strength and medical conditioning side's got a really good, an honest assessment of what that looks like, and they'll basically decide whether he plays or not. In consultation with Mac, of course, but. We're a little bit thin, obviously, with the mid-season draft. We drafted, two guys that are capable of playing key back. Obviously, the loss of Ballard, loss of Himmelberg and young Noble as well has made it a little bit challenging. And Caleb Graham is still injured as well. So we are thin, but we're also very confident. We've got a lot of hybrids that are capable of playing tall, small. So whilst if Mac doesn't play, I think we're still well placed with who will come in to replace him.
Speak about Leo. We saw during the week that announced stuff. Just what he's had to do to get back.
Yeah, it's great. It's sort of one of those guys, we sort of look how well he trained over the pre-season, then obviously to get the shoulder injury. It's funny, whilst it was disappointing, it was probably, I don't say a good thing for Leo, but it's giving him a great understanding to learn a little bit more about the game. So it's giving him some good grounding. Once again, he'll come in. We sort of had this game penciled in, and his match fitness was the one thing we just wanted to make sure we got a couple of games into him before we put him into the rigours of AFL footy. And we certainly think he's going to be a better player at AFL with the calibre of players he has around him and the system understanding. So it's a terrific story, you know, the journey, and it'll come out over the course of time. You know, his mum and the support she gave him throughout his whole journey about, you know, the football and driving here and feeding him and all that as a single mum has been really, really important. And it's the reason he showed so much emotion when she was in the room, because, you know, parents do a lot for their kids, and it's great to reward, you know, first and foremost, I think both of them are required to be on the journey, but more importantly, it's to acknowledge both on the journey as well. So it's a great story, and we're looking forward to watching him play.
And the role that he'll play?
Yeah, he'll play a little bit midfield and predominantly forward as well. You know, we love his ability to cover ground. He's a finisher, good ground ball player, and gives great pressure in the forward half. You know, his speed. It's funny, a magnet that we've really missed. We've got a fair few out, but, you know, Will Graham's been a magnet, you know, once again, really highly thought of in our building. And he's a player that we've actually missed, and Leo's probably a like for like, so which would be exciting.
Back home, you already see that.
Yeah.
You haven't had any continuity at this ground, but eager to
Yeah,
build on what you sort of started.
well, it's good to be back. You know, we haven't been back here since last game was round 7, I think it was. So, you know, we're looking forward to be back, and hopefully your fans are looking forward to be back as well. We're looking to, you know, get as many red jumpers as we can in that stadium and fill it. You know, one thing that we're starting to build, and one thing that's become noticeable, the more and more we're walking around town, people are starting to enjoy and jump on the SUNS, which, you know, I think Gold Coast has been crying out for a side to jump on. So hopefully the Gold Coastians can jump on board the SUNS and get there on Saturday. You know, once again, we're a side that I think is on the march, and it's really important they come on the journey. It's exciting. We've got some exciting players, exciting talent, and hopefully they start to jump on board and come with us on the journey, which is important.
Noah said after the game on the weekend that you do start thinking about finals, because that's where the club wants to be. But how do you sort of temper that? I guess,
Yeah, all we've got to do is nail our 4-week block. You know, this is the last one of that block versus Fremantle. It's been a tough block. It's sort of a little bit of a, you know, played sides that have been, you know, contenders and challengers, and you know, Fremantle are one of those as well. So, you know, we've just got to make sure we keep our mind firmly on this week and firmly hit with our focus on Fremantle, because they are a very, very good side. Like I said, their record is a little bit under, I think, of the side they can actually be. So, you know, you'll always drift there, and that's understandable. But what we've got to do is just understand the only thing that we can control is that next shift.